Biden had hit rock bottom. Get this, he was selling Bitcoin on his Twitter account, but have no fears, it was just a hack. There was a massive security breach on Twitter yesterday where several other people like Barack Obama, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk appeared to be pitching Bitcoin. Here's what Twitter had to say about the hackers. We know they use this access to take control of many highly visible, including verified accounts, and tweet on their behalf. We're looking into what other malicious activity they may have conducted or information they may have accessed, and we will share more here as we have it. Well, we have seen the influence Twitter has had over political conversations, and now knowing that Twitter can be hacked at this type of level, I mean, you got to ask, what does this mean for the presidential election? Well, let's bring in our company to discuss with us Joe Concha, the media reporter for The Hill, and Lauren Claffey, former Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary for Strategic Communications and Public Affairs. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Joe, you know what worries me? First, I'm glad that they all hadn't hit rock bottom and hadn't resorted to selling Bitcoin. But I think what concerns me is that as we get closer to the election and we have less time to synthesize all this and figure out what's a hack and what's not, I mean, they could suddenly start hacking important people and saying, vote for this person, don't vote for them, vote on Wednesday, not Tuesday, whatever it is. But a lot of disinformation could come out of these kind of hacks if we're not paying attention. I think they just exposed a major vulnerability.
Or, Sean, actual information can come out of these hacks, right? And we saw it in 2016 with WikiLeaks. And, you know, obviously you were a part of that campaign. You know very well the influence that hack had on that election in terms of John Podesta's emails suddenly drip by drip every day in October up to Election Day, revealing all these horrible things about Hillary Clinton, about the DNC, about the way the campaign was being conducted. So now with this hack, which could have been a heck of a lot worse in terms of if you're talking about nefarious things, what if somebody's direct messages were hacked and some information being shared between this reporter and this particular person on this campaign or the candidates themselves? If that's revealed, and trust me, all of us don't want that to happen because I'm sure we've shared some things that we thought were private that suddenly become not private, forget about it. I mean, so this could have been a lot worse. And I have a feeling that this isn't the first card that these hackers are going to play. If they had access to all this information, they may be revealing more depending on what their intentions are at this point.
Well, Joe, I mean, talking about people who sent private stuff they didn't want to know, think about Andrew Weiner. I mean, he sent pictures and got caught, and he says that he was just being hacked. But, you know, I think people now can potentially use this as a scapegoat, Lauren, and say, well, you know, I actually was just getting hacked. I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't me. And just using this as their out opportunity.
Yeah, I really hope that's not the case. I mean, this was a very serious hack on multiple levels. And I think the part that's even scarier is that the internal threat, the employees were a part of this. They were targeted and then ended up being a part of this hack. So Twitter has a major vulnerability here as far as their own employees facilitating this type of information. And I mean, to Joe's point, we don't know what information they were able to gather. And so it's a really important reminder that social media is not secure communications channel, and we all need to be aware of that. These direct messages, not secure. Putting out tweets, we need to be very careful of the information that we're consuming, especially ahead of the elections. And Twitter especially needs to take their cybersecurity measures up a notch because obviously they have a huge responsibility to the American public and the world to make sure that they get this right.
You know, it's interesting, though, Joe, that obviously in this case it was Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Bill Gates. And so it was easy for Twitter to kind of flag it, right? These are big people who are verified, massive followings, and the same message went out across each of them. But imagine if it was someone who wasn't verified, like a reporter or a candidate for office that doesn't have the same notoriety. There's going to be a quick rush to judgment because that's what everyone does and says they tweeted this and therefore they're bad or they're good or whatever. And the problem is you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And so this whole thing about fake news, reporters are so quick these days to rush to judgment that now it's been a big warning that we better take our foot off the gas before we immediately judge someone. Because as Lindsay pointed out, some of these folks are going to say, oh, I was hacked, and it's true. And some of them, like Anthony Weiner, lied and they weren't. Or Joe Reed, when her blog got hacked and said, oh, I was hacked, when it wasn't. So the problem now is that we've got to figure out what's real and what's not.
Yeah, I go with toothpaste back in the tube, by the way, Sean, as far as you went genie back in the bottle or unring the bell. I like that one as well. But I know exactly what you're saying, that this could be now the excuse. Joy Reid tried that. She's now an MSNBC primetime anchor at 7 o'clock. And she said that time travelers actually went back and hacked a blog of hers, which without 1.21 gigawatts in DeLorean is literally impossible to do. But hey, it worked because she got a promotion, right? So, yeah, look, all I know is, Sean, that tonight I'll be probably deleting every direct message that I've ever had because there's some bad stuff in there. I hope I'm not signaling anything to anybody. No, there's not, actually. It's pretty nefarious. It's pretty innocuous.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the type of thing, seriously, that never, ever trust anything that you think is safe on social media, whether that be Twitter, whether that be Facebook, email for that matter. Anything you think is safe, ask John Podesta. It's going to get out there one way or another. And the fact that this was done inside shows you that Twitter employees, whether they're getting paid, they can very easily be manipulated or bribed, and particularly in an election year, by people that want to do bad things to affect the election. And I have a feeling this is not the last we're going to hear about this.
Yeah, it's probably not the last we're going to hear about it. And I think any time that you rely on a social media platform, anything online, as you're mentioning, Joe, can be hacked at this point. And so you got to be careful. It'll be interesting to see, we're still about over 4 months away from the election, what will happen. But we got to be smart about this stuff. Thank you guys for being here. Always great to talk to you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. Well, as if Florida doesn't have enough of a crisis on its hands with a spike in COVID-19 cases, a new controversy surrounding test results in the state has emerged. Florida's Chief Financial Officer, Jimmy Patronis, is here to discuss. Don't go away.